Welcome back to the channel. I've found this place in my house where I really like the way the light shines through the door, and I can sit here and talk to you guys. So I'm once again in my favorite location, and I thought I should talk about what I think of my country. So recently, or lately, I've been thinking a lot about so many countries in Europe with the whole Brexit stuff happening, and US, Sweden, France, Germany, Spain. I have so many friends in all these places and I travel a lot, and I've been trying to compare why Great Britain is such a different and a wonderful place. And it's boiled down to one thing. I think we are one of the most tolerant and accepting nations on this planet. And I say this because I am absolutely certain and sure of it. I should point out, before I go ahead and talk about various nations and people, that I don't have anything against any country. I have really good friends in all those places. I love those countries that I go to. And the reason I know their cultures so well is because I travel and visit them so frequently. So this isn't criticism or an insult towards other countries. This is just a comparison and me trying to understand why my country is different. So the first thing that I notice when I go to various places is the lack of various nations and cultures mixing and blending together. We have so many different nations living in the UK from all around the world, and even within UK, England, Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland, very different cultures, very different societies. Even the language is slightly different. We all speak English, but it's just like the Americans also speak English, but we don't understand each other. Anyway, I'm kidding. But the point is that we are used to having all these mixed cultures, and we don't judge people based on their looks or background or various things. An example of that is American television versus British television, or American movies versus British movies. Our actors, people make fun of them and say, oh, the Brits are ugly. Unfortunately, it's a very nasty thing to say, because the Brits are extremely good looking and they're a very handsome nation. The only difference is that we don't choose all the good looking people to be on screen. We choose people based on their acting skills, whereas Hollywood only chooses people for their looks, unfortunately. If you're beautiful, you move to LA, you become a model or you become an actor. You are just told from day one that the world is going to be your oyster, and because of your looks you're going to get ahead. That doesn't work in the UK. We don't care about looks so much. We're not that superficial. In America, people are holding on to their dear looks with plastic surgeries for eternity. And while the English actors just grow old gracefully. If they go bald, if they go grey, then that's it. Whereas the Americans, you can see they have wigs and hair implants, and they have their faces tucked behind their ears. It's just because of the cultural differences and the society of how it works. They don't get work if they don't look beautiful, whereas we focus more on talent. This whole other thing that I hear all the time about the Americans saying or generalizing, making this statement, oh, the Brits have really bad teeth. No, they don't have bad teeth. That was maybe, I don't know, 50 years ago. We had television and actors for a long, long time. Some people had bad teeth, but now they don't. And we have really hard water, the climate, the food, there's so many factors in it. It's not genetic. And now people don't have bad teeth. And even in those days, poor people had bad teeth because they couldn't afford to get good dental treatments. Others didn't. So generalizing and saying that all Brits have bad teeth, no, they don't. The world's biggest famous top models for many, many years, even now, they are mostly British. So let's not just stereotype and generalize. So on the other hand, yes, they're very clever people in America, but it's much harder because in those countries, if you go further west, it's a very dog-eat-dog world and it's very competitive and very cutthroat. If you go east, it's very bureaucratic, it's all socialism, communism, and the establishment. We are right in the middle. So we are a good balance of both sides of the world, if you want to call it that. We're right in the middle. We've traveled around the world and conquered so many countries. We know how different cultures work. We understand how people think, and we welcome people to come and live in this country, even though we're a small, tiny island. I said this in one of my other videos that France is the biggest country per square kilometer in Europe, I think, followed by Spain, followed by Sweden, followed by Germany, and France, for example, would need to take another 50 million people to have the same population density as the UK. So yes, we are heavily populated, but we still keep taking more people, and it's because we care about people's inner being, their qualities. It's one of the only countries in the world that I know of, at least, where you can get a job irrespective of what degree you have. You could be an investment banker and you had a degree in philosophy or history or arts, because people judge you based on your skills and your abilities rather than what you studied at university. Whereas most of the other countries, people follow a career path that they may or may not have correctly chosen or like, but then they're stuck with it for the rest of their lives and they can't get out of it. Whereas in the UK, people come here from all around the world with various types of degrees and qualifications, and then they flourish and they do other things. I, for one, am a medical doctor. I moved from medicine and it was fairly easy to switch into business consultancy and business transformation, technology, and now I do a lot of post-merger integration, M&A work, divestiture planning. Yes, I did an MBA, but I got those jobs before, and I had already worked in the industry for about maybe 2 to 5 years before I went and did an MBA. And honestly, the MBA is just a piece of paper that proves to other people that I am capable of doing what I say I can do. Otherwise, I could do everything anyway. And all the work that I do is my own brain and my skills and my abilities. It's nothing to do with what I've learned from textbooks and academics, basically. Yes, I've learned through experience, which is a completely different thing. The point I'm making is Great Britain is a great country because we allow people to mix and work. Yes, we've made some mistakes, I agree. But we are too eager to accept our mistakes. So I'm not going to go down that road and point out the things. The only one thing that bothers me about us is that we allow too much freedom. We allow people who come from different countries to create their own communities. I think there should be certain laws that are enforced that say you have to learn the culture, you have to learn the language. There should have some quotas where you cannot have people from one country emigrating and living in one part of a city or a region or whatever area they decide, because the trouble is then they create ghettos and they don't mix with the indigenous population, which damages their further generations. That's the only thing. That's the only criticism I have. Otherwise, I think we're an amazing place. So let's be proud of it. I think this video has become more of a rant because when I start talking, I can't stop, and I have so many things and views and ideas in my head, and I just keep going on and on. So I will stop here. But I just wanted to say I'm really proud of being British, and if you're British and you're watching this, you should be proud of it too. Thanks for watching.